Hi everyone, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center in far west Texas. Where's Cascade the Wonder Dog? Well, you know what? It's been a little bit too hot and uncomfortable for any of us to be out here. Debbie's kind of ill from the heat and Cascade isn't. But we got to have Cascade in the video, so here he is. Okay, I'm going to cover several things in this video. I'm going to cover some of the planting in the water garden. We're going to finish the raft bed, and we're going to harvest. One of my first crops that actually is ready to harvest, and it is right now. I think it's the 23rd of June, rather. So we're going to harvest something that came up early and will grow real well in this climate, and we'll talk about that a little bit. First, I want to cover something that probably might garner a thumbs down. Now, at least an honest thumbs down, because there's still that guy that keeps going to different IP numbers and whacking thumbs down on me. Hey, I guess what we used to say in the car business, bad publicity is good publicity. So, hey, whack that. But to counter him, those of you that do watch this or any of my videos, just give it a thumbs up, just to kind of counter his 9 thumbs downs that he always seems to give me. So anyway, the first thing I want to cover is, you know, it's been 9 years since I started this journey here in far west Texas. 9 years. I'm 66 now. I was 57 when I started. 9 years is a long time no matter what. And we've lost a few of our early supporters. Now, Bill, if you watch this, I'm thinking about you. Haven't heard anything from you. A couple of other people. And I don't blame you. 9 years, as I said, is a long, long time. We got to finish this thing. Now, things changed for Debbie and I earlier in the spring, and we're getting a little bit of money coming in. We went and got all of our furniture. Debbie got a new car from her father. Unfortunately, we went into an assisted living center. I guess if we live long enough, it happens to many of us. But at any rate, I've got the time, I've got the health, and a little bit of money coming in. So what I've done is, in addition to the donate button, which is on the main page up here that you can use, I've also started a Facebook fundraiser. It's the only time I'm going to mention either one of those. The donate button's always going to be up there. The Facebook fundraiser, I'm going to put the link in the comments below, and it'll be there. But I'm not going to mention it video after video. The reason I'm mentioning it now, though, is between the work that I'm doing and some of the money that's coming in, that gives me almost half of what I need to finish completely the structure here so we can actually start this place as an educational center the 1st of next year. In other words, not in 2 years, January. We can actually finish this place between now and, my goal is between now and October to get the structures all up, including the greenhouse. Because of that, I started the fundraiser, and you know, the donate button remains there. I'd like to equal the money that Debbie and I are going to have coming in. So I started the fundraiser for $5,000. That's the goal on everything, the donate and everything. We'll get, and the majority of that, $2,500 of that money, not the majority, but quite a bit of it, is going to the translucent panels here in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is going to be our signature work. I know those of you that have watched us have seen, you know, you think the construction and sometimes some of the rough carpentry that I do is it. I grow things. I grow those geese that are over there and loving and wanting to come here and be with me. I grow these plants. I grow things, and I grow things real well. My mother had 10 green fingers. It seems like I've inherited 2 green thumbs from her. That's what I do best, and that's what we're going to concentrate on in the future. But right now, let's get into some of the things we have that I'm doing today for this vlog. And enough about that. But if you can donate anything at all or a lot without hurting yourselves, now's the time, because now we're going to finish this place, get it up and running, and that job will be behind us. Let's get into something else. So here we have the raft bed. And the raft bed is up and running. I've got the net pots in here. Everything looks good, but it's not finished yet. I actually, in order to protect the liner, I actually have to put these. And now I'm drawing a blank as to what to call these, but these, they're They're lathing strips that I was going to use for plaster, but what we're going to call this, I really don't know. But at any rate, I'm going to tie this down, tie the liner down, bunch it up properly, tie it down, screw, and about 6 screws in each piece here. That'll hold this down and prevent it, reduce the stress so that the holes or the staples that are holding it now don't have stress and rip. So I'm going to get onto that. I'm going to run it all the way around, bunch this up, and then we're going to do a couple other things to this. And I'll also show you the few plants we have that are almost ready to plant in here. But first I've got to do the furring strips, and I've got to build a little framework over the top that I can put a shade cloth on, because some of these plants are going to be delicate. They're basil and lettuce, and I've never done aquaponics before, so we're going to see and we'll learn together. All right, now I've put the strips all the way around to just hold this in nicely with as little strain on the material as I can. Stapled it down, and I might trim it later, but if your eyes were sharp, you noticed I had bricks weighting the styrofoam down. Obviously, in the West Texas wind, which you can hear right now, today is the day we're not complaining, though, because it's going to be 99. That's cool, but 99 is still hot. Cool, but hot. Oxymoron. Anyway, the bricks weighted this down just enough that it pushed the water up higher than I actually cut the holes in the styrofoam for. So the bricks had to go. So what I've done is just devised a little system to put put strings across it. So I've got 6 screws that are elevated a bit. Just hook a loop on one. Come around to the other one, which I didn't tie off, so we'll just tie it real fast right here. There we go. Otherwise it'll just keep spreading out and look like hell. And pull it tight. Wrap it around once, and I don't know what you call this knot, but it's the way we used to always tie our boats up, at the fishing docks. There we go. Now that'll hold the styrofoam in without weighting it down. Gives me just the right height. Okay, on to the next project. Oh, wait a minute. The next project is putting the shade screen, or the shade cloth, over the top of this so that the sun and the wind don't damage the tender little plants. They are really probably too early to put them out now, but they're just too tender to be out in this stuff. They'd burn right up. So that's the next step. So I want my cover to be up at 6 feet. Any higher was just, it wasn't that worthwhile. So I wanted it 6 feet. Now the ground underneath here is not level, but the table is completely level. So what I've done is I went around and I measured the 6 legs and found the shortest one, which was 33 inches. And I've made a pencil mark right here at 33 inches. And what I do is just raise that pencil mark up to the top of each post, and that'll make me relatively level once I get up to the very top. Again, it's not going to be perfect, nor does it need to be. It's a temporary shade cloth. So I'm just going to start my screw through here. Lift this up. Make sure the bottom is all set where I want it. There we go. And just secure this. I believe 2 screws is all I need. And just go all the way around. And there we go, last one. So now I'm ready to measure and cut for the top and put the shade cloth on. Well, I got my cross members up, and all that's left now is to put the shade cloth on. Shade cloth is a scrap that I got from one of our area residents, Chuck. Chuck watches everybody's videos. He makes it his business. So Chuck, this is that shade cloth you gave me about 1.5 years ago. Thank you. We're going to put it to good use. While I'm on that subject, this new hat you guys have been seeing me wearing, that was also a donation from a guy who said I needed to protect my head, which was true, Billy Ray. So Billy Ray, thank you for the nice hat. It is a little bit hot when it's on, but it does protect me real well, so thank you. let's get this shade cloth on. Now there's not enough shade cloth. I had 4 pieces and none of them are wide enough to completely cover this up, over, and down. So what I'm going to do is completely cover it down here, across, and as far as I can. So I'm going to stretch that out and start stapling it and come back and show you the finished product. Okay, there you have it, covered in shade cloth. Now that'll cut a lot of the wind down and make my sensitive plants, or allow my sensitive plants to grow a little better. I'm going to just staple the sides down with a few staples. I've got my stapler set so that it doesn't drive the staples all the way in. So when I need to get in there, I'll just take the pliers, pull the staples out, re-staple it when I'm done. Just until we finish the greenhouse. But at least now, since I've got standing orders for lettuce and basil, probably oregano as well, but lettuce and basil definitely, we got to get this thing growing, and this will let us grow. Now I want to show you the plants that were coming up and talk about that a little bit. They're in the building. Now here is the first tray that I've planted using the Grogan plugs. I love that name, Grogan. I got these when I didn't know what I was doing. I just got a deal on them. I think I paid like $1 for 100 of them. And so I planted the seeds. You can see them. I'm kind of going back and forth here. I don't know which of these is basil and which is lettuce just now, but we have some delicate little sprouts. And just to make room for the new proper Grogan plugs and some more seedlings, I'm going to go ahead and plant what I have here out in the raft bed. And if they take, they take, and if they die, they die. But I need to get things planted correctly because I do have orders, as I said earlier, for lettuce and basil. So I'm going to go out there and plant these and show you that. And I've got one more thing to show you, and then we're done. Well, I haven't stapled the sides down. I'm going to do that after I finish this video. But what I did was I planted those little feathery plants in the bad Grogans. I planted them in the net pots in here on the raft bed. And then I went to the good Grogans that I bought and replanted them with some radish, some radish, some parsley, and some basil. Still a test because I want to be sure I can grow these things correctly. I believe we can now that we've got the proper growing medium to start them with. So they're inside getting sprayed, and they're in a cover where they have high humidity. These are out, planted in here. We'll see what happens to them. I got one more thing. This I'm really excited about. I'd like to show you. So it's a little bit hard to get the camera in here, but I set you up so that I had 2 free hands. What we're looking at here, climbing up, is an Asian-style long bean, asparagus bean, yard-long beans. They are ready to harvest, like right now. They're ready to go. And this is one plant that's growing up here. I've got another one on the other side that doesn't have, it has a few beans on it, but they aren't ready. The beans on this one are ready to harvest now, and I thought you'd like to join in with me as I harvest them. What are yard-long beans? Well, guys, these are yard-long beans. Right here. Take a look at that. We're going to cut them and harvest what's ready to harvest right now. In other words, anything that's good and long. So let me get a handful of those, and I'll be back with you. So I've moved us out of the sun. There's a little bit of shadow I see in the monitor, but it's just way hot out there. It's only 100 degrees only. But for some reason it's just quite hot. Anyway, this is all the harvest I'm able to get right now. Remember, it's the end of June, so this is doing quite well. These are absolutely ready to eat. Now, they're called yard-long beans because they will grow very well. I had these in Florida, and they did quite well for us in Florida. But I gotta tell you, they weren't as nice as these here. And let's just get a look. These are yard-long, supposedly. And I would say the long one of these two is going to top out at 19 and a half inches if you straightened it out. Which is nice. Now, it's been so long. It's been since we lived in Florida, so that's at least 9 years since we've tasted them. And I can't remember exactly what they taste like. I do remember that Debbie and I liked them. They were very much like regular green beans, but regular, the kind that agribusiness factory production makes for us. Except we're if I were picking these beans from a regular bush bean, and I picked 10 of them, I wouldn't have enough for one person. Here I have enough for Debbie and I to really pig out tonight on these beans. So that's what we're going to do on these yard-long beans. And that's just the beginning of the harvest. We've got purple Cherokee tomatoes coming in. We got all sorts of stuff coming in. I'm excited. I hope you're getting excited as we get this thing going. We're going to get it finished in. As I said in the very beginning, we're going to make a big push and get everything done so that we've got the, I can do my thing, which is growing instead of building. Although I like building, I love growing. Do my thing, and we can maybe help the planet just a little bit by getting you to reduce your carbon footprint by just a little bit. And if everybody on the planet reduces their carbon footprint by a little bit, think of the savings. So, until the next video, don't have anything else to say. Until the next video, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch Sustainable Living Education Center in Far West Texas saying, see you soon.